potatoes. So, there's a big potato event coming up. And everybody's looking for a different...
There's a lot of potato events coming up.
There's always a potato event coming up.
We were tasting latkes today at work.
So this, if you saw the potato stacks recipe we did a little while ago, this is kind of a mishmash between the potato stacks recipe and...
So is this potato horizontal?
This is potato horizontal. And it's halfway between that and a tartiflette, French tartiflette. There's no cheese on top, so it's not a tartiflette.
Very good.
Good. You know, potatoes. So here's how I made it. So I start out in a small pan and I melt some butter. While the butter is gently melting, in a mortar and pestle, I grind together thyme and garlic cloves. Once it was most of the way ground together, I put in some black pepper. And then I scraped that into the butter to allow the butter to take on the flavor of the garlic and the thyme. While that was steeping in the pan that I was going to bake the potatoes in, I fried up some bacon. And when the bacon was partially cooked, I threw in some sliced onions. Don't cook the bacon too far because it's going to bake again in the oven. When the bacon and the onions were fried to a level that I thought was pretty good, I pulled them out of the pan, pulled the pan off the heat. I pulled out the mandolin and started slicing potatoes. Mandolins are dangerous. Use the guards. Don't slice off your finger, please.
Pay attention.
And then started putting the sliced potatoes in, arranging them in a circle so that they're all standing up.
How challenging was that?
It wasn't too bad. Not too bad at all. But I think what I would do is I sliced these really thin, and then halfway through I started slicing them a little thicker. And I don't know which is better, whether thick or thin, and so I just sort of mixed them up a little bit so it doesn't look like it's sliced potatoes all in a circle. It's sort of a mishmash. Once I got them all in, put in some black pepper. I put the bacon and onions on top. Then I took the butter and garlic herb mixture and put that on top as well and tried to push it in a little bit so that the butter and the herbs and the bacon and the onions sort of get down into the potatoes. Threw that in the oven, and this is what you end up with. So things that I've learned: I think I would work harder at pushing the bacon and the onions into the potatoes.
Yeah, there's a few of them are a little crispy on top. I was actually surprised you said there was thyme and all those flavors in it, because I'm not really getting those flavors. I mean, they're great. I love potatoes, so I'm not losing.
It is very light. Yeah, the flavor from the thyme and the garlic is very light. I was a little afraid with the amount of butter because there was already bacon fat. So I think you could double the amount of butter and thyme and really baste it in.
So that was your second lesson, or is that just an aside based on what I just said? Because you said 3 things.
That's the second lesson.
Okay.
So I'd push everything in a little bit more. I'd probably slice them a little thicker, and I'd use more butter and thyme.
3 lessons.
3 lessons. And I will reflect those in the written recipe that is above, below, beside.
But generally, a great potato dish. I mean, they're potatoes.
And the presentation is really nice, too.
I like potatoes. And you get to serve it in the same dish that you cooked it in.
Yeah. Yeah, everything cooks in the same pan. Well, almost everything. Cool. Let's sit down and eat.